gotta start clapping. Good morning and welcome. We are glad that you guys could join us this morning. We've got staff, we've got family, we've got Seacoast representing, all here for our seniors, for Senior Chapel. This is something that people have been looking forward to for a long time. Real quick, I want to give a shout out just to everybody know. Brittany Bogus is one of our juniors, and she is part of a crew team, and she's heading off here real soon, next Saturday, to a pretty serious competition. So just want to wish her the best of luck. Where is she? Is she here somewhere? There she is. She's hiding. I know that will happen at the school, so we may not know, but we'll be watching Facebook. Looking forward to that. I want to take this time to open us with prayer, and then I'll invite Mr. Brook to come and get us started. Let's pray together. Father, you have blessed us in so many ways. I thank you so much for this morning. I thank you for the seniors that it represents and our entire student body, the alumni, our staff, and our students that are here in support. And I just thank you for all the laughs and memories that we'll get to share this morning. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
All right. Well, this is the first of two big events for our seniors. And next Friday night, they'll be just numb as they're up here waiting to receive their diplomas and walk off the platform as high school graduates to step into the new future that is waiting for them. And this is our way of saying, it's like a baccalaureate, if you will. And it's our way of saying goodbye to our seniors as a family, but also a way of recognizing some of their academic and achievements that they've accomplished through the year. And so we do that on this day and not at graduation. At graduation, we will make the award for our Christian Character Award and our Citizenship Award. Okay. Really? So if you would, we want to make our academic awards, and these are the best projections that I can make at this point, because we're almost done with all the academics, for the academic award for the fourth quarter and for the year. And so as I call seniors, as I call your names, you'll come up and just stand behind me for just a moment. We'll make presentations to you. The first one is for the AV Honor Roll for the fourth quarter and the academic year, and that's Leanna Boyer. She needs to give it the FSCJ grade. The second one is AV Honor Roll for the fourth quarter and academic year is Justin Jones. That's what happens when you stand next to the tallest girl in the school.
You need heels like she's wearing.
Yeah. The next one, I don't believe she's come in yet, but Linnea Owens received the AV Honor Roll for fifth quarter. AV Honor Roll for the fourth quarter of the year, Lindsay Waschke. AV Honor Roll for the fourth quarter and for the year, Georgia. The next two awards are for the students who made the A Honor Roll for the fourth quarter and for the entire year. The first one is Heather Beckham. And the next one is Mai Lee. Would you give them a round of applause? At the we call subject awards, and that's for the student who has performed probably the highest level of all the other students in that particular subject for the entire year. And this year we have 3 seniors that are receiving those awards. And the first one goes to my lead for Bible class. The next student is actually receiving 2 this morning. She's receiving the award for English and for chorus, and that's Heather Beckham. Each year, public schools and private schools alike are offered the opportunity to award what is called the President's Awards program. And there's 2 categories, one for achievement and one for excellence. And these are students who have demonstrated outstanding educational growth, improvement, commitment, or intellectual development in your academic subjects. Demonstrate unusual commitment to learning and academics despite various obstacles in your life. And President Obama writes this letter to all those students who receive it. Please accept my congratulations on receiving the President's Education Award. I'm pleased to join your family, friends, and teachers in recognizing this tremendous achievement. Nothing will have a greater impact on your success and the success of our nation than the knowledge and skills you gain in the classroom. Your future is in your hands, and as long as you stay focused on your studies, there is not a single thing that you cannot accomplish. By earning this award, you have shown the discipline and drive to excel academically, and we encourage you to carry those qualities forward in all that you do. Congratulations again. I applaud the example you set for students across our country, and I wish you all the best for the years ahead. President Obama. I apologize. The first award goes to is the Academic Achievement Award. And these are students who have demonstrated those qualities and achieved an unweighted GPA on their transcript for 4 years of 3.0 or higher. The first one is Nicholas Austin. The next is Louisa Fajardo.
Good job, Lulu.
Nye Lee. The next is Eugen O. Joshua Pope. Georgia Chow. And the last one, she's not here, and that's Courtney Taylor. In the area of academic excellence, the following students have achieved an unweighted GPA of 3.5 or higher. And the first one is Heather Beckham. Leanna Boyer. Justin Jones. And last but not least is Linnea Owens, and she's water. A psychologist walked around a room while teaching stress management to an audience. As she raised a glass of water, everyone expected to be asked the half empty or half full. Instead, with a smile on her face, she inquired, "How heavy is this glass of water?" 8 ounces to 20 ounces was the common reply. Well, this is real glass, it's probably a little heavier than that. She replied, "The absolute weight doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold it. If I hold it for a minute, it's not a problem. Easy. If I hold it for an hour, I have an ache in my arm. If I hold it a day, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. In each case, the weight of the glass doesn't change. But the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes." She continued, "The stresses and worries in life are like the glass of water. Think about them for a while, and nothing happens. Think about them for a bit longer, and they begin to hurt. If you think about them all day long, you will feel paralyzed or capable of doing anything. It's important to remember to let go of your stresses. As early as in the evening as you can, put all your burdens down. Don't carry them through the evening and into the night. Remember, put the glass down. It's okay to drink if anybody gets up here and is thirsty. It's clean water. I've had in my 60 years life, in my 60 years of life, I've had the opportunity to hold many, many jobs. One of the first jobs that I held was on what was called the Independent Life Building at the time when it was being constructed. It's now called the Wells Fargo Building. I was a carpenter's construction laborer. I was 22 or 23 years old. A lot stronger than I am now. A lot better shape, hauling sheets of plywood up and down 3 to 4 flights of stairs. Walking steel, carrying scaffolding material as I went across. I've also been an administrator at a Christian college over 4 departments of the school. And between that, I've had a variety of things, and now I'm here as principal at Seacoast. And in every place I have ever been in my life, there has been one idiot knucklehead who has followed me. And I see him every morning when I look in the mirror. It's like, really? You did that? Didn't you think about this? Didn't you think about that? All of this, my worst enemy is not anybody else but my own self. Students, the quicker you learn that lesson, the easier life will become. Your friends, the drama in life, are not the problem. The problem lies here. The quicker we resolve this issue, the easier we will get along in our work, in our world of work. We will always have problems. We will always have issues. It doesn't matter where I go, there I am. And I am my own worst enemy. But in all of that is the grace of Jesus Christ. They all know that says, I am more than a conqueror. And I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. His grace is sufficient for every encounter that I have. And as hard as the Apostle Paul prayed for the deliverance of the thorn in his flesh, Jesus told him, my grace is sufficient. So no matter what challenges you face, the grace of God is always sufficient enough to carry us through. We just have to trust Him to do that. And so I encourage you, as you're about to embark on this great new phase of your life, and I am excited for you for this because I see the potential that is ahead for all of you, as well as your teachers and your families. There is tremendous potential and opportunities for you to accomplish things that only you can dream of, and only God can provide a way for you to accomplish. If you trust Him and follow Him, and put down the glass of water every day at the end of the day, and start over the next day as a new day, life will be a lot easier for you to deal with. So, seniors, we congratulate you, we honor you, and recognize your achievement, and we are excited for what is ahead for you in the future. Thank you, and God bless. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce one of our guests this morning, and that's Sergeant Blocker from the Marine Corps. Sergeant?
Hey, first of all, I would just like to congratulate all the students here and their parents and teachers that did all the hard work to get y'all here today. And I'd like to ask a young man to come forward, Sterling Strickland. This past weekend had special significance for many of us, especially personally it had special significance. Memorial Day, honoring those that have gone and stood on the wall and defended our freedom to live free, worship the Lord, and just live a normal life. Less than 1 in 4 young people are qualified for military service, and less than 1 in 8 are qualified for service in the Marine Corps. And this young man has decided upon graduating that he wanted to lead a life of selfless service to give back to defend your freedom in this great country. And that deserves to be recognized. I'd like to ask you to recognize him right now. Unbelievable honor and privilege of being a U.S. Marine. I've got to do some incredible things. I've got to defend this country and serve in the company of heroes. And it's an honor to find young men and women, young people, like this young man who stands up and says, I want to give back. It's not about me. It's about others. It's about defending freedom. Sterling?
Today I'd like to give this certificate and thank you for your service to your country as a U.S. Marine. That's something.
Seniors. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mrs. Strummel. I'm the administrator, and I get to work with Mr. Brook, and it is a privilege to be a part of this school. It's funny, I don't ever get nervous except for senior chapter graduation, because it truly is such a big deal. I know you guys don't always think it's a big deal, but for your parents and all your family, huge deal, huge deal. So seniors, I'm truly honored to be standing before you today on this special occasion of Senior Chapel. This is one of my favorite days of the year because we are able to honor you and your parents for the accomplishment of surviving all of these years. I'm truly thankful to you parents for giving us your children at their most impressionable time and trusting us with the task of not just educating your children, but loving them and teaching them about the Lord. To you seniors, I am thankful for the countless years of laughter, tears, total aggravation, and true moments of just absolute joy seeing you reach the potential that we have always known that you have inside. Each year I pray about what to talk to you about. And the same thing kept coming up in each of my devotions, rides in the car. And then it's funny hearing Mr. Brook, we never talk about what the other one's going to say. And it is what defines you. Is it your parents and what they've instilled in you, the influence of friends, teachers, and family, trials and tribulations that you have faced through the years, Are you a victim of circumstance, or have you seized each moment, influence, situation, and asked God, what can He show you? What does He want you to learn from each and every one of these? As I was reading in my Bible, the Lord brought me to the book of James. Just reading a portion of it. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave out of the sea blown and tossed by the wind. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. He chose to give us birth through the word of truth, that He might find the kind of fruits of all He created. In these coming years, you will be faced with trials and choices. At those crossroads in your life, you will need to determine what defines you. And what does the Lord want you to be? You can always make excuses based on circumstances, but the Lord puts people and things in our life to help us grow and mature into what He wants for us. In these moments, sometimes the fear and the unknown can take over. But I've truly found when I trusted God in these moments, the blessings have been overwhelming. My prayer for you is that you finish what you started here, that you leave these walls and be everything that we know that you can be, because if you do everything as unto the Lord, you cannot go wrong. My last scripture is in Isaiah 40:30-31. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. You seniors are amazing young men and women. Each of you have a story, and you have pages that are already been written, but you are not finished yet. Who will be the author of the rest of the story? I am excited for you, and I thank you for being here.
Good morning. Grace Fellowship Church, the place where we do all of our volleyball games as well as our practices of basketball and some homecoming dances and other stuff there. We've all been there, but we actually have a church there as well. 20 years ago, our man, Pastor Dan Davis, has been giving service to Grace Fellowship. We started 18 years ago. He hired me at Grace Christian Academy to start my career there, and I followed up through here. And we are tickled to have him today come speak to us. He's been my pastor for 18 years. He's challenged and shaped me into the Christian I am today, and we're tickled he's here. Pastor Dan Davis.
Thank you very much, Troy. And Elton, this water is drinkable, right? I can't see it. Oh, there you go. You get a little of this. Very nice. I want to thank Paul also for inviting me to Senior Chapel this morning. What a privilege to speak to soon-to-be graduates standing on the threshold of life as you've never known it before, life as adults. And it's also an honor because Deanna Boyer and her dad and mom and sister and brother are like family to me. I mean, Deanna was barely a toddler when I first met her, just a baby. And it's been a blessing to watch her grow into such a lovely young lady. And it's not just skin deep. I mean, she, at our church, she serves in the nursery. She teaches kids church. She welcomes visitors. She just shares the love of God with all the people around her, old and young. So we appreciate her so much. And I'm really proud that she's going to be playing hoops for my old alma mater, Tennessee Temple University. It'll be great. So again, thanks for inviting me this morning. Let's take a moment. Pray. Father, we have a simple request this morning. Give us ears to hear, hearts to understand as we take just the next few minutes to reflect on your word. In Jesus' name, amen. You know, the year was 2001. 9/11 occurred, signaling the beginning of the war on terror. iTunes was unveiled for the very first time. iPod was released. Harry Potter was the #1 movie, and The Lord of the Rings was #2. Ray Lewis's Baltimore Ravens pounded the Giants 34-7 in Super Bowl 35. The Lakers, believe it or not, with Shaq and Kobe, the dynamic duo, demolished the Sixers in the NBA Finals. And the reason I mention all these other historical markers, it was the year you seniors started first grade. You know, equipped with action figures / Harry Potter / Barbie lunch boxes and thermoses and undies. We started this 12-year marathon. And very soon, we crossed the finish line. And you deserve congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. And back then, I don't know if you can think back, but maybe you dreamed that you would be a superhero someday. But what about now? You know, that's the question. I mean, we may smile when we remember childhood hopes and dreams, but I hope you still have a dream. I really do. I hope you still have a dream. A few years ago, I saw a picture that stuck with me, tattooed on my arm. You'll understand why in just a moment. It was taken at Hilltop Research, a company that tests the effectiveness of mouthwashes and deodorants. In this photo, there was a long line of bare-chested men with their arms up like this. And believe it or not, several women were working their way down the line, smelling armpits. I mean, this was up close and personal stuff. Women get these awesome jobs because they have a much better sense of smell than men do. And I guess the flip side is that men are better in the BO department. Maybe I should say worse. Anyway, here's why I mentioned the picture. You know, when those ladies were little girls, they dreamed of being princesses and nurses and teachers, and not even one of them ever imagined that she'd one day make her living as a pit sniffer. It just never happened. But that's what can happen. That can happen when you stop dreaming. You can wind up with a job or even a life that stinks. You know, the poorest person in the world isn't the one with no money, it's the one with no dream, because that person has no direction in life. So let me speak to you very briefly. I think I have 10 or 12 minutes, but very briefly, about 3 vital things you need to prepare as you prepare to launch it. A dream, number 1. The courage to pursue it. And faith. First, be a dreamer. Be a dreamer. You know, to have a dream is to have the ability to see, to envision what you want to be and what you want to do with your life. It speaks boldly about your intentions. It means you're clear about your purpose. That's critical because whether you've realized it yet or not, lack of purpose is much more crippling than lack of ability. You need purpose. Once the fire of a dream ignites in your heart, not only is it almost impossible to put out, but it also unleashes previously untapped resources, indispensable powers you didn't even know you possessed. I'm telling you, I've experienced this. This is true. A young man in our church took a few lessons and started playing bass guitar a couple of years ago. and it became involved in our praise band. Now, amazingly, he plays with the Jacksonville Symphony Orchestra and with some pretty serious jazz bands. I don't know all the details, but I know he's good. He's really good. Now, this past Sunday, I asked him what he was doing after church. His answer, I'm going to go home and practice. You know, what is it that motivates a hopeful young musician to keep on practicing scales over and over again while everybody else is playing video games? What does that? What kind of power gets hold of a person to make that happen? What inspires a developing baseball player to take countless grounders day after day out in the sweltering heat? What encourages a would-be doctor or lawyer or teacher to endure long years of preparation? Listen, and this is the main thing I want to communicate this morning. Every great accomplishment has its roots in a great dream. Every single one. You should jot it down if you have a pencil. Every great accomplishment has its roots in a great dream. So embrace the dream that God puts in your heart and pursue it no matter what. God is going to speak to you. He is going to lead you. And here's what you need to do. Refuse to settle. Refuse to resign yourself to anything. Don't wake up one day to the sad realization that you're just as smart and capable as the most successful people you know, but you didn't succeed because you didn't aim very high. You didn't take any risks. You didn't dream. First, young people, you need a dream. And secondly, you need the courage to pursue it. A few weeks ago, my 8-year-old grandson had an off night batting, and what for him was a pretty big game. And he was disappointed in himself. I drove home, immediately got online and did a little Googling and emailed the words to the old Michael Jordan commercial to it. You know the one I'm talking about. It's the one in which Jordan says, during my career, I've missed over 9,000 shots, lost almost 300 games, 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I'm a success. You know, he's right. The road to success is absolutely littered with failure. In order to succeed, you've got to be willing to fail. In order to win, you have got to be willing to lose. And that's why you need courage. You hear what I'm saying? I'm saying, well, first you need this dream, then you need the courage to pursue it. The reason why is because that pathway is going to be littered with all kinds of failures and losses. And you've already failed more times than you'll ever remember. You fell flat the first time you tried to walk. Your first attempt at riding a bike was a total disaster. You almost drowned the first time you tried to swim. You didn't come close the first time you swung a bat or shot a basketball. Hey, there was a time you couldn't successfully say the ABCs or count to 100. You know what I mean? Look, don't worry about failure. Worry about what you miss if you don't try. And that's what's going to happen with some people. The obstacles are going to seem so huge, you're just not going to try. You need courage, and here's the secret to courage. Courage rises when the cause is greater than the circumstances. For instance, a mother terrified of deep water will dive in head first to rescue her drowning child. The reason her courage rises is that the cause, her child's safety, is greater than the circumstances, the deep water and her fear of it. You need a dream, and you need a dream or a purpose or a cause that is so powerful, so compelling, that it gives you the courage to tackle circumstances that might seem impossible. There's a direct relationship between the size of your cause and the size of your courage. Listen, courage is what turns a dream into reality. It's the action that speaks louder than words. It's coming through again and again, week after week, month after month, year after year. Courage makes dreams come true. And some of you seniors, I mean, you've got to make some courageous decisions right now. And you have to follow through on them. So you need a dream, the courage to pursue it, and lastly, you need faith. Let's close with a story Jesus tells in Matthew chapter 7. It's about two men who each built a house. Storms battered both houses. One stood, the other fell. The difference wasn't in the storms, it was in the building. Remember, the house built on the sand was completely demolished by the storm, but the other, built on the rock, stood firm. You remember the story, right? Christ said, therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Jesus pictures your life as building a house. And everyone builds, for to live is to build. Your dreams, ambitions, and actions are the raw materials, the building blocks out of which the structure of your life rises. It's happening right now. And this story teaches that if you build your life on Christ, listen, you will be successful. And I'm not talking about dollars and cents here. I'm talking about prosperity of life, and it comes in all shapes and sizes. Build your life on Jesus, and you'll never face the failure of a wasted life. That's the truth. That's the truth. Build your life on Him, and you'll never face the failure of a wasted life. Build your life on Him, and you won't have to face the failure of dreams that are destined to disappoint, because Jesus will point you in the right direction. Life's most tragic failures will never touch you. They'll never touch you. And the common failures will only make you stronger. They'll become a back door, a secret passageway to success in life. So have a dream, the courage to pursue it, and put your faith in Christ. Dream big, live bold, and by God's grace make the difference. Seniors, that is the best advice I can give you this morning. Now, back in 2001, when your parents watched that yellow school bus pull away or dropped you off at school and kept an eye on you until you disappeared into your classroom, you didn't know it. But they had a big knot in their throats. They knew that one chapter of your life was closing and a new one was beginning. And the same thing is happening right now. You're about to turn the page and begin a new chapter. Just around the corner. It's college, career choice, marriage, parenthood, grandparenthood, and you should be looking forward to every bit of it. But as you prepare to turn the final page to this chapter, realize that not only you, but also your parents and your teachers and all your friends are saying a bittersweet goodbye to times that will always be special. Your days here at Seacoast. I've heard it in your voices. You've heard this morning. This is a great place to be. And as you leave this place, expect great things from God and attempt great things for God. May He richly bless each one of you and give you success in each and every area of your lives. Amen.
As simple as this may sound. Are we working yet? There we go. Just don't touch it. This time right here is one of my favorite moments in life. I have the honor and the pleasure of sharing some memories that God has given me and given some of our seniors, and honoring them and their time, possibly embarrassing them and their families as I share some of the memories that I've had. But I couldn't be more thankful for the opportunities that I've had to be a spiritual guide for our seniors and our students, and just share in their lives and be part of them, and teach them and learn from them. So this is always a good time. I have some gifts to give and some memories to share individually with each of them. So here over the next few minutes, I'm going to be inviting them to the stage and sharing with them. All right? First of all, if I could please have Josh Pope come to the stage. Now, Josh may not realize this, but Josh is a whole lot like me. He's good looking. He's a good guy. He's smart. He loves the Lord. And over time, you know, Josh is those guys that I've always kind of looked to, and I've seen that, you know, good things are going to be in his future. But there is one distinct thing that I also know. Whenever there is trouble around, this guy happens to somehow be somewhere in the quirk, and you wonder, you say, man, you know what, I know Josh wouldn't be the ringleader of this, but of course, you know, he usually is in there somewhere. But here's the deal, this is the funny thing you may not realize, this is I was the exact same way. Whenever things, you know, everyone's looked at me in college and in high school, and I was a good guy, but whenever things were kind of going crazy, I just happened to simply seem to be around. And so although I wasn't necessarily a ringleader, I have something to pass on to Josh that will help him. This is probably the one thing that will help you the most in your college career, because it definitely affected mine. I would like to give you my water balloon launcher. Now this comes with something. I don't want to see this until after you graduate, okay? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Pope. Christina, will you come up here, please? I had the opportunity to get to know Christina a little bit better over spring break, and sometimes in more ways than I wanted to. Christina came out to the zip lines a little late. And so when we had everyone out there and we were explaining how to be safe and all of the precautions that were necessary, she wasn't out there right at the beginning. But I remember distinctly saying, hey, did you talk to my dad about what you're supposed to? Yes, Mr. Paul, yes, I did. Of course I did. So I got on the zip line, the really long one, and I zipped on down, and it was my job to go out there. I'm about 30 feet up in the air on this little tiny platform. And my job is, for safety purposes, I would disconnect one wire and connect it over here so that they could zip line down to the ground. And everybody, it was kind of funny because some people did it great and some people didn't do it so well. But Christina has a very unique way of doing this. You see, here's the deal. You have these, you're strapped in and you have these huge welding gloves, and they are your brakes, okay? And so, as you go down the zip line, if you brake way too early, Megan, you're not going to make it all the way to the tree, and you have to turn around and actually pull yourself all the way up. But if you don't brake at all, you're going to come in about 40 miles an hour. Now, I just happened to be sitting there, and I was strapped to a safety line that if something were to knock you out of the tree, you would fall about 10 feet, then this thing would snap in, and you would probably swing head first into the tree. But better than falling on your head, okay? So I'm like, there is no need for this, really, okay? Until I saw Christina coming down the zip line. And as I see this form, and some of you guys were perfect, man. Some of you guys got it. They'd come up there, I'd just step back, and they'd stop, they'd land on a little landing pad, and I'm like, you did that really well, good job. Christina got coming down the way, and I realized that she's kind of struggling to stay straight and get her gloves. And about 20 feet away, about 40 miles an hour, I get this Jesus take the zip line thing going. She just throws her hands to the side, and I'm watching her, and she comes in feet up, and she plows into me really hard. But here's the good news. I asked her, I said, hey, did you feel the tree when you came in? She's like, yeah, I hit it pretty hard. I'm like, that was me. I didn't, the bruising was so deep that it kind of the whole thing just kind of changed colors. So to forever remember, your Jesus take the wheel, here are your bright green gloves. Christina Guzman, everyone. Man, come on up here, man. Where is it, man? Oh, you're hiding. You got dressed up. Okay, sorry. So okay. Keep it in for now. Oh, Manch. Manch. Manch and I have a very unique relationship over the last, really, the year. I believe, are your parents here? Hey, I got a bill for you. I'm pretty sure that I have kept Manch alive on the food in my office. Every single day I come in, and there was a time that I had a bin. You know, they got me a bin of animal crackers. It was about this big. And about that, Manch came in, he's like, can I have some animal crackers? I'm like, yeah, sure, man, go ahead. Because if I don't, he'll just come in there anyways. So I'm like, there's no stopping him. And so I get Manch, and I'm like, hey, so the next day, some people come in like, can we have some animal crackers? I'm like, yeah, sure, there's a big thing in there. And they open it up, and they're like, no, there's not any. I'm like, dude, it's this big, it's huge, I'm sure it's in there. It was gone. I'm like, we'll see if you can find Manch, because he's probably rolling on the front ground, moaning from the 5 pounds of animal crackers that he has eaten. So, Manch, I got to send you off, man. And unfortunately, something tells me every once in a while I will find you coming back and rummaging through my stuff. I thought I'd send you off here with some stuff. Yeah, I should last you about till lunchtime. Man's birthday morning. Do you have something for me? Are you gonna make me check this? This for me? Thanks, man. Well, let's just do this. I need Nick, Brian, and Kadarius. So I'll come over and see them. All right, now you guys are all there. One of you, let's see who's first. Let's see. We'll go with Kadarius. Come on over here and see right here. It has been part of this. Often each year in words of wisdom and advice, I write books for these guys. And so as I watch them all year and as I learn from them, they come up with some pretty unique titles for my books. And so this first one here is for Kadarius. And this one says, I'll be reading it in its entirety. This one says, all the times it is appropriate to flirt at Seacoast. Chapter 1. Never. The end. You didn't see that, kid. All right. Nick, come on up, man. Little Nick. Nick, over the last few years, as we, whether it be worship arts or Bible class or whatever's going on, Nick has always had some pretty amazing comments to say. And so I have this thing of all of the things that have been helpful to me that you have said over the years. I've written them down. This is Nick's big book of ideas. And subtitled, Practical Suggestions That Are Helpful in Real Life by Paul Halstead. Nick is pretty famous for, you know, when I'm like, hey, look, let's make a video. You know, we got chapel coming up, and this is what we're talking about, man. And it'll be like, all right, so we got a dragon that comes in from the side, and all the zombies come from this. And I'm just like, are you aware that this is chapel's on tomorrow, and where are we going to get a dragon? I'll go catch one. Fill that up, buddy. Fill that up. Nick Austin, everybody. All right, Brian, come on down. Brian has always been a very sharp-dressed man. I appreciate that. I've learned from him. Brian has got a special place in my heart. He has, over the last year, has come out and been a part of our youth ministry and been a very quiet leader in that, and I appreciate him for that. But also in school, in chapel, he stepped up and he's very musically talented and has blessed us and been a part of helping me with music ministry and been a part of leading worship for our students, and I've always been very thankful for that. And to be honest with you, I've never given him anything he can't play. Every time we've asked, he's come and he's been a part, been ready, and however I can help. And I really appreciate that. But one of the things that sticks out with Brian most that I hold is how he has changed in shape over the last year or so. And I still remember this is probably one of my favorite memories of you. This year, when I wasn't announcing football games, I was usually down on the sidelines, and Brian recovered a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown. And it was raining, so his dad was in front of me and was running and cheering and screaming, and I was like galloping or something with my little, umbrella type thing, screaming and yelling, and we get down there, and I'm assuming that, the whole crowd is behind us. And so I get down there, and we're all like, screaming and yelling, and Brian's the only one in the end zone. And I turn around and look, and we were the only ones down there. But I was excited that I got to be, there with you on that. But here's my book for you. It's How to Get Big Muscles by Paul Halstead, Chapter 1. Do whatever Brian does. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Wright. You guys are kids. You got to use the couch. Chelsea, come on up here. Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea. This may be school-wide. I'm not really sure. This is not something that me and the teachers have really talked about out of fear. But Chelsea is one of the few people that have ever growled at me. As a student, I've had people, say sarcastic remarks, maybe even snap at me once in a while, but I've never had someone growl at me. During worship arts, Chelsea had one job. She was the music coordinator. She helped put all the music away and file all that kind of stuff. And every once in a while, I would bring stuff to her and be like, hey, look, this is your only job. You got to put this away. And she just... You're growling at me. Every once in a while, she would create this little cocoon, and everyone was too afraid to go and see what she was doing in there. But she would have her, her sweatshirt and everything, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on in there. So be careful, waking the beast, because every once in a while you just hear this. But then I realized that she was probably just tired because of long days. So I got you something that will be helpful in college. In your college classes, you can just take this with you everywhere you go. No more sleeping on the steps. I know you do, but now you've got a perfect pillow. Megan. Come on up here, Megan. Megan I have known for a long time. I was actually, when I taught Bible in her class in middle school. And I have a very funny story to tell you about Megan. Mrs. Bean was having a breakfast, and as one of the teachers in the class, she invited me to come. And so I was excited. I was standing there with in line, and Megan and her mother were standing right in front of me. And as we were going through the line, and I'm probably one of the last people to go through the line. Megan is right in front of me, and so we're just kind of like, making sure everybody got enough, everybody's got enough food and all this kind of stuff. And Megan reaches down to the 2-gallon grape juice bucket and just picks it up and goes, and her mother was like, Megan! And she just had this look on her face like, oh. And she just, but I was right behind her, and she looked at me and she was like, I'm like, no. All yours. This one you can have all to yourself. All right, Louisa, come on up here, Louisa. The first time I met Louisa, she was sitting in Mr. Brooks' office and had a t-shirt and jeans on, and I'm not sure which of your family members were with you, but all of them probably. But I came in, she was here, she was talking to me about coming to school, and so I just was passing by. I think it was summertime, and I just met her, and so Mr. Brooks was telling me briefly just a little bit about her, and he said, and she plays the drums. And I'm like, really? Like, you play the drums? This girl really plays the drums. And so, but I remember this because I couldn't remember her name when I first, because Louisa Harlow is not an easy thing to remember, and that's not even her real name. It's like, 9 miles long. But when but I left, and I remember going, and I said, you know what? I went back to some of the guys, Nathan Brim and Sam Bates, and they were in the worship arts class. I said, guys, we've got another drummer coming. And they're like, what's her name? And I'm like, Demi Lovato. I didn't know. I couldn't remember. But I just remember, I'm like, she looks like Demi Lovato, and she plays the drums. And I'm like, so I just want you to know that you were Demi Lovato for a really long time. But probably one of the funniest things that I've had the pleasure of making fun of Louisa about is obviously I know where she's from. But every time I see her, and every time I call her Mexican all the time, as everyone does. And so I wanted you to know that you and forever and always will be my favorite Mexican. She is from Colombia. All right, where am I? All right, Trey, come on up here, man. When I was about 19 years old, I was traveling with my dad, speaking on behalf of Farside Christian Mission, and I went to speak at a church in Texas. I had never been to Texas before, but I went to church in Texas. They loved me there, and as I got there was a guy there that was very Cajun. I hardly understood a word that he said. But he would come in, he's like, all right, you got this, and he just started talking. I'm like, oh, okay, I really don't know what you're talking about. But he came to me, and he said, you've always got to be prepared. I said, okay. And he said, I got something for you. Always be prepared. One of the things I love about Trey is that anytime I've ever had an issue or problem or whatever, Trey has always been like, well, what do you need help with? Cars, fixing, whatever. Another great thing about Trey is that he's very honest, he's very real, and we have had some great conversations, especially over the last year, whether it be life or whatever it may be. I'm thankful that he has allowed me to be a part of his life and confided in me. He's come and we've been able to work through some things and help each other out when it comes to that. But I know Trey's going to succeed, but I want you to be prepared. That Cajun man, he said, when he was talking about, he was asking about tools that I had. And I was like, well, at the time I was 19, I didn't have that many tools. I was traveling on the road. He's like, all right, I got some tools for you. He said, you don't want to be anywhere without wire and wire cutters. He said, because you can do anything with wire and wire cutters. I said, okay. So he gave me wire and wire cutters. I've used a bunch of it, but Trey, I want to give this to you because I want you to always be prepared. But this is the wire and the wire cutters that he gave me, and I want to give them to you. If something falls off my car, I'm going to call you. You can come wire it up for me, all right? Because you now have my wire and wire cutters. All right, Linnea made it, right? Come on, Linnea, come on up here. Linnea is the loudest one of the group. I have, it's been great to get to know Linnea this year, and I was so excited when she was able to come on our senior trip with us. And it's so funny how you just meet and you learn so much. No matter how much you think you know your students, you learn so much when you spend anything overnight with anybody. And so we made it all the way to my parents' house. And everything was great. We had a really good time. Linnea was ready to go. I was a little nervous for a couple of our people, how make sure everybody feels okay and we're doing all right. And we got to my parents' house, and then Linnea just disappeared. You see, Linnea is pretty huge. My parents have a dog. It's about twice as big as she is. Linnea doesn't like dogs very much. As we were getting everyone in, I was like, so where's Courtney, where's Linnea? They're still in the van. I'm like, are they okay? Yeah, I think so. And I went out there and they were just sitting in the van. I'm like, you guys okay? Yeah, we're fine right here. After a little while, Linnea did eventually come in, and it was amazing to see her handle this the whole time. Linnea would, for a while, came in and she was upstairs and just watching from the balcony. Everyone was doing stuff, and she'd wait till the dog would leave, and then she'd come down, the dog would let she'd be back up. But it was excellent to get to know Linnea. I appreciate her heart and her hard work when it comes to class assignments and stuff like that. It is always a privilege to read what she has and see her heart and her love for the Lord. So you will always remember me, and you will always remember our trip to Tennessee, where you got to sit in the van and ride and stand on the thing. This is for you, and I promise that one will be much nicer than the other. I need Eugene and Elizabeth. These two ladies have a very unique way of coming to class. It's often never on time, and that's why they're both sitting here together. But there's one funny thing I got to share about Eugene. Eugene actually has an entire walk in her honor, and it has a name. It's called the Eugene Shuffle. It happens pretty often, right around 8:05 to 8:10. And it looks a little something like this. As she comes running, I have all these windows so I can see where the seniors park, and as they come running through up to the gate, begging and pleading for us to let them in. It's just called, oh, here comes the Eugene Shuffle. Here it comes. Elizabeth, she doesn't shuffle. She takes her time. She gets it. But I have something that I think will both benefit to both of you as you go on to college. Okay? You can strap it to your body. Now I got your matching watches. Okay? But here's the deal. What time does that say? Can you read it? It says 10:10 up there. What does that say? 10:39. Okay? That's what time it is in Eugene and Elizabeth world. All right? 10:39. There you go. Help you stay on time. Oh boy. All right, Logan, come on up here, man. I'm surprised you didn't say why. Because Logan, oh man, since I met Logan in middle school, he has been that one kid that asks why. Hey guys, we're just going to sit down and open up your books. Why? Hey, Jesus died on the cross. Why? It's time for lunch. Why? He asks why a lot, but I think that's a good quality, and I appreciate that. It's not a bad thing. Through all of our classes, throughout Bible, it is often Logan that asks those questions that you want students to ask. You have students that come and they listen to you, or they don't, I'm not really sure, but they have this glazed look on their faces, and you speak and you wonder if you're making a connection, but every once in a while, you know, I will say something, and I'll be like, man, I hope they get this. And Logan will say, why? Why did that happen? And I appreciate that, because that means that he's listening, that means that he gets it. And so I'm very thankful for all the times that, as a teacher, sometimes you just want students to hear you and say, look, now go away. But it's always good when they say why. And I appreciate that about Logan. Do that for the rest of your life, never quit. Now there is one thing that I've noticed that I think that Logan seemed, maybe it was a little depressing this year. You see, all of these guys kept coming into the senior first period Bible classes, and within a matter of a day, they would be all bearded up, you know, got this big old Fu Manchu, and then here's Logan over here, all baby-faced. even when he would try, man, you know, it just, you know. So look, Logan, I got you something that I think will benefit you in the future, all right? There's a 6-month supply of self-adhesive mustaches, all right? Logan Malone, everybody. Good like you. All right, where's, let's see, who's there? Lindsay. Lindsay, come up here. Come up here, Lindsay. It's funny, Lindsay and I share passion about a number of things, and probably one of the funniest ones is fitness and fitness stuff. And so it's been really cool. She's been doing some fitness challenges and stuff, and so and I have too. So it kind of every once in a while we'll know, and I can just see, because as you know, students are coming in again. Of course, we have the Eugen Shuffle, and we have some other people that come. But you can always tell when Lindsay has been working out, because she walks up like this. And I'm just like, just take your time, girl. I'll hold the gate for you. I can always tell when she's done that. But it's been really good to get to know Lindsay. She is very real, and I appreciate reading her answers and stuff, and you know, her desire to grow and know the Lord more is very evident, and I'm very thankful for that. But just in case that when you go to college, you don't have time for the gym, I got you the Wii game for the Zumba. Well, you're going to need a Wii. Ladies and gentlemen, Lindsay Waskey. All right, where's Heather? Come up here, Heather. Heather, again, share something very unique. She's like, thank you, Tom. Heather did come on senior spring break, and we shared something while we were there. Sickness. Yeah. Okay? We were both very sick when we were there, and it was not fun. But we had this kind of ritual, and this is the first time I've ever done this before. We had this little ritual where every night before we went to bed, we would go into the kitchen, and we would go over, and without words, we just had this bond. We would go over, and my mom had all these little tiny medicine shot glasses set out there, and we would grab them and clean them out, and then we would just knock out some NyQuil. And so we would do that, and she'd rinse them out, take it, we kind of look at each other, and then as we were droopy-eyed, we'd go off to bed. So I do not drink, I don't drink, but for the first time in my life, I felt like I had a drinking buddy. And as we would go to, but it was just so funny, and I'm so thankful for her heart, because even while we were there, and even while we were on spring break, I think she was able to squeeze out a pretty good time. And I'm so glad that she was able to come, even though both of us felt horrible. We were sick, and we had, I don't know what it was, but then, amazingly enough, in Tennessee, it was the weekend that it snowed, and it was just unbelievable. So, but she muscled through, and she still was able to be a part of everything. So, Heather, my one and only drinking buddy I've ever had in my entire life. Here's some children's nighttime cough and cold. All right, Justin, come on up here, man. Almost done. I'm not sure how well you guys know Justin. I know Justin pretty well. I know Justin in ways people don't even know Justin. Okay? Going all the way back when we started summer camp, probably last summer, I think, maybe a couple summers ago. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure which one it was, but it's the luck was sticking in my mind. Justin thought it would be a really good idea to go to the beach right before camp started. And so I'm not sure who his sunblock applier was, but they need to be fired, okay? It was himself. Find a friend, all right? He comes to camp that next day, and he has got this sunburn mosaic all over his body where he is bright red and bright white. And I'm telling you what, it was like that for over a year. Okay? Because even when he would get tan, the tan would get tanner and the white would just get kind of tan. And it was phenomenal on his you're not somewhere now, right?
Nope.
So he will be soon. One of the things that I've appreciated, I'm telling you what, Justin has been a big help to me. I love it when, we can be students. But Justin and I we started with guitar lessons way back in the day. I think it was 5th grade when I first started hanging out with Justin. And just watching him become the man that he is today is a phenomenal thing. And I appreciate him greatly. He is an employee of mine, and from my understanding, both myself and Mrs. Sherman have threatened him with his life if he ever decides to go anywhere else. Okay? But one of the things that is about Justin is that I can count on him no matter what. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that there's so much maturity in a young man. Not only does he love the Lord, but he's very respectful. And all I have to do is ask, and he is there. So he is to me, when it comes to extended day and camp and the school, he is the tape that holds it all together. So I got you some camo duct tape. I knew it was going to be camo. I just didn't know what it was, but I knew it was going to be camouflage. So, Leanna, will you come here, please? Come on up here, Leanna Boyer. Oh, spring break. Like I said, I was not feeling well one of the days, particular days, when all of the crew went out to go paintballing in Tennessee. And I was like, all right, let's just make sure everybody's, I'm not going out there with them, but let's just make sure everybody's doing it. And I talked to the guys, and like, yeah, man, we got our safety stuff on. I mean, they had these like body suits on. They had their goggles on and everything. And amazingly enough, right near the end, Leanna was able to take a shot from a paintball right through here and clip her eye right here. And she came in, and I heard her, and she came in and she was laughing. So I'm like, what's going on? She was kind of laughing. She was laughing and crying. And I looked down, and her eyes like this big. And I'm like, what just happened? And so obviously she's like, no, I'm okay. And so we dealt with that. And it was kind of crazy because part of this we worked in with Coach Boyer. We worked in that Tennessee Temple is down the street from my parents, where my parents are. So we're like, hey, let's go meet the coach and let's go do all this kind of stuff. And we did that. And she won't tell you, she did okay. She'll do better. But you can't blame her because she's walking around like this, eyes all swollen shut and everything like that. Now, I had told her that my parents' doors are wide open, and I'm hoping that you'll get a chance to come up. Mom and Dad, if you need a place to stay, it's a pretty good place in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we'll gladly have you. But I know you're going to go back up there, and I know you're probably going to see my parents. You're probably going to spend time. So I've modified your headgear a little bit just to make sure this doesn't happen again. Okay? Causing me stress. Now I promise, this is kind of like camouflage, so if you're wearing this, okay, they'll know to aim here. You see where it says not here, in the eyes, or here. Okay? I want this worn if you're going back to Tennessee. Just for you. And Blair. All right, Mai, where's Mai? Come on, Mai. I'm not forgetting Why are you nervous? Why are you looking at me like that? You will not find a person with a better head on her shoulders when it comes to life, when it comes to her understanding of Christ. I've been very thankful just to have her as a student. And again, she is one of those people that you make definite that you're going to read all of her answers in her papers and everything that she writes, because it's just amazing to watch and see. She is very unique, coming to us being Austrian Japanese, and so of course I got to hear her story, and it's amazing. I'm just like, how does that even happen? You know? But I was so proud of her. You know, this year she received the Bible Award, and not only because obviously she's turned in everything, and that she's done excellence, everything in excellence, but she also left for a month to go film a TV show, and yet missed nothing the entire time. And so I have come to appreciate her. But I know she, you know, as you all are going to do great things, I am very thankful for Mai and everything she's doing. So it is, I usually do this with at least one student each year because I give one away. I have a Bible that I study with, and I give this to you. This is my personal Bible that I have, that I've used all year in class. And I want you to have this because I want you to go, and as this has helped me share the Word with you, I want you to share it with others. All right, we're almost there. Are we almost there? We're almost there. All right, for the first time, I have a gift that is not leaving. Sterling, if you'll come up here, please. As in you don't get to take it. Have a seat. Not here. Right here. Oh, Sterling. Where's Mom? The stories we could tell. Sergeant Block is here too. I should probably make sure I've known Sterling for a really long time, and I'm very thankful to do so. Sterling has grown up with me, and I have watched him grow. He's been part of our church and youth group. He's been basically a part of my family, as some of you have been. And I am so thankful that he's in my life. He can drive me crazy, as you all know. But I tell you what, he's not shy about that either. But I'm very thankful for this. Sterling has been a number of places, and if I can define it in one way here, this is what it's been. Sterling has been the guy where I say, I need, and the words yes sir are already coming out of his mouth. And so no matter what it's been, our adventures, whether it be helping me DJ stuff, or I was trying to buy a van and we drove to Orlando for like 8 hours and didn't even find one worth looking at, and all day, you know, we just, yes sir, whatever you need, yes sir. And I tell you what, it is a really awesome thing, and you've got some people in your life who will do that for you, especially with my family and so on and so forth. I'm very proud of him and his desire to become a Marine. It's been a long time going, but I know that he will succeed simply not because he is the biggest or the strongest, but because when someone asks him to do something, he will do it. He will do it, and that is going to make him a great servant, because that's what a good servant is. And so I'm very thankful for that. One of the things that Sterling and I have shared over and over and over again is our love and affinity for Arnold Palmer teas. Okay? To be honest with you, if you were to cut either of us open right now, that's probably what would come out. Okay? Now, with that being said, this is the gift that is not leaving, but my gift to you will be soon. These are going to sit on my desk until I see you at boot camp graduation. Rob is standing there waiting for you, and we'll crack them open. All right? September 20th. We will be there. Am I done? Georgia. You almost forgot about Georgia. Georgia, come on up here. I need you to sit over there. You like this one better? Hold on, come on. I aim to please. Georgia. The day I met Georgia, I was doing summer camp. I'm good friends with her host family. And they called me and said, hey, we've got an exchange student from China. And and we just want to get her involved with people. Can she come to camp with you? And I'm like, sure. We're already leaving. We'll be at the bowling alley if you want to meet us there. And so we go to the bowling alley, and Georgia shows up, and as grown up as she is today, she was about this big. And I'm like, hello. And in doing so, I realized that her English wasn't that great. She could speak English, but she was nervous and she was scared and all this kind of stuff. And so I just kind of said, okay, well look, we're just bowling, so Georgia, come right up here. And so she just did as she was told, and she was bowling with the group of kids, and sure enough, so when I get into the summer camp mode, I get, well, I guess I'm obnoxious all the time, but I get super obnoxious when it comes to summertime. And I'm down here, and I've got kids that are running up and down, and that's a big no-no at the bowling alley. So I'm going to take care of some kids. So I'm in zippity-zip mode, and I'm walking by, and I see Georgia is about to bowl. So not realizing that I'm kind of a big guy, and I make a whole lot of noise, I just, moving pretty quickly along the way, I go, "Let's go, Georgia!" And I just turn to continue to go find whatever, you know. I got about 10 feet away, and I see all the people I'm walking toward kind of looking funny. And I turn around, and here comes this little Chinese girl running with big eyes, because I told her, I said, "Let's go." She was chasing me down, and then I stopped, and then I tried to explain to her that I was just, and she's like, and I'm like, I don't, okay, just, bye, and I walk away. My love for Georgia has grown, and she has become a part of our family, our church family, and our school family, and I'm so thankful that she's been able to be here. But one of the really cool parts that, you know, this is kind of a bond that grows. One of the things that George and I have been doing just lately is she's been taking guitar lessons. She has just exploded with wanting to know everything musical. So she was taking guitar lessons, she was taking piano lessons. Anytime anyone everywhere was playing something, she'd just walk up and sit down. And so we got her hooked up, she bought a guitar, and you know, everything has been going. And then death came. I know you didn't do it. But we're going to wait here until someone confesses. No, I'm just kidding. Georgia, on a day that I was gone, I was playing the guitar, she put it back in my office, and then someone bumped my chair, and the guitar fell over and smashed to smithereens. It's now sitting in a shallow grave in my office. No, it's in pieces. But Georgia was so sad, and you know, all this kind of stuff. And it has nothing to do with her, so you know, there's no big deal. And it's just a guitar. But we've been talking about this because I have another guitar that she has grown to love because it's Georgia's size. And she is going back to China for a few months, but she doesn't want to take her big and bulky one. So this kind of makes it easy. As a gift, I want to give her something that she has grown to love a little bit. But with that being said, I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is your guitar. So we had it specially designed for you. Oh, seniors. You're very loved. I know that we have been through a lot this year, whether it be spring break, prom, and all the things we've done, but I have grown to love you guys very much. And I'm very thankful that you've allowed me to be a part of your lives, whether it just be listening to class or being invaded. Well, I thank you. Is this something I'm supposed to open right now? Sure. Okay. Open right now. As always, you can never agree on anything. Thank you all very much for feeding all the continents during lunch. Yes. And thank you all for living on me. Guys, I have parents and students, I have definitely appreciated the opportunity to share with them. I thank you, parents, for trusting me when we have gone places and taken them. that's a big deal. I have my own kids, they're here, and I think, man, would I let my kids go with someone as crazy as I am? Think about that. But it has been a privilege and an honor to share Christ with you. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And that's what I hope that we have all taken from this. And I hope that I've been a good example for you. As always, with a lot of our alumni, I am here, and I'm here to help, no matter where I am. You guys are always more than welcome to come and knock on the door. And if I have food, man, I'll feed you too. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one more thing that we want to do before we go. Graduation is a very formal event, and so as teachers, we don't get the best opportunities to say goodbye to you guys, and realistically, a lot of you are already done. Your stuff's done. So I want to ask this, if the teachers will come up and line up on the stage, and simply I'm just going to call you guys by name if you'll come up, and this is your opportunity to kind of shake hands, hug, or frown, whatever you want to do as the teachers. But we just want to have you guys give you an opportunity to come, shake their hands. Ms. Hale will have something for you, and then when you're done, if you'll just kind of come right back right here, because we want to close in prayer, praying with you guys, praying for you guys. All right. So, if you guys will get all our teachers up here. Again, all you're doing is just coming up this way and just shaking hands or whatever. Get to say goodbye here real quick. All right. Everybody in? Everybody in? All right. Nick Austin, Heather Becker, come on up here. Sarah me. Leanna and Elizabeth. Louisa and Christina.
Did they sing a family love song? I'm so proud of you.
I think your family loves you. Justin and Manch. Maya and Logan. Why? Why do we gotta come up here? Oh, Megan and Eugene. Heather, do this way here. Your way here. Right here in the middle. Where'd Nick go? Yeah, just wait there. We're gonna. Linnea and Chelsea. Josh and Georgia. Nancy and Brian. Teachers, if you just kind of surround them with me, we want to close in prayer. And once we do that, you guys will be dismissed back to class. Family and seniors and siblings. If anybody's a sibling, where's Janelle? She's excited. She gets to go eat. We have a brunch prepared for you guys, so you can come in and do that. Let's pray for this. Let's close out. Father, we are so blessed. We are so blessed to be a part of these students' lives and their families. And I'm so thankful that you have given us the opportunity to be a part of that. God, I pray that in all things, the seeds that are planted over these years will just continue to grow in you. Father God, I pray that you will direct our paths as we seek you with everything that we have. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you all.